So today we took a loss, a 50 pip loss, and it always reminds me that it's okay to be wrong. The market has actually dropped down pretty substantially, and if you stay in the mindset of being wrong too long, then it might make you miss out on the true direction. And so by having a stop, what that is also giving you is the rule for invalidating the trade or taking the trade the opposite direction. And so one of the things I wanted to share is that, again, if you panic every time you take a loss, that's not a strategy issue, that's more mindset. And one of the things that I really didn't want to admit, or it took me a while to admit, is that my reaction to losses, that revealed more about my relationship with money. Okay. Every single trader has a money story. Every single person has a money story. Every trader has a money story. Every entrepreneur has a money story. I could share my money story with you. When I was I think I was 11 years old, my mom introduced me to A.G. Gaston, who, if you're not familiar with A.G. Gaston, he was a very enterprising entrepreneur. And I have a video on the channel. It talks about his rules for money, but that was my first introduction to him. And fast forward years later, I actually didn't know that my mom met A.G. Gaston. My dad actually was from Birmingham, Alabama. That's another story. Don't have that much time to get into that, but a part of my money story is not only seeing or getting those lessons early, but also in seeing my mom manage her money. She would budget, she would clip coupons, she would do this, and then also seeing how my dad managed his money. He was a little bit more free, but my dad also had more streams of income than my mom. So that's something that I saw. And so some people have certain beliefs when it comes to money, like money is scarce, or money is hard to make, or money disappears quickly, or money doesn't grow on trees, which it absolutely does because it's paper, cotton. So it actually grows on a branch. That's another conversation. Some people might also hold the belief that loss equals failure. I used to hold that belief about my trades. It's like loss equals failure, when really loss is just information about the trading idea. Okay. So if I love to equate it to sports, because obviously athleticism is a part of my day to day. If I had a basketball game, and at the end of the game, my team, let's just say my team lost, and I only had 15 points when I normally average 30 points, that's just information. I'm not a failure. Obviously, no one wants to lose. We don't get into the market to quote unquote lose money. But the thing about it is when you start to understand that every red trade doesn't need to be taken personally, it's just information. Okay? It's just information. And so this idea too of a hidden danger or some sort of imminent danger is money. And I know that that's not always comforting to hear. I've heard that when I have had a pretty substantial loss, someone brought me back to reality and saying, hey friend, it's just money, you'll make it back. And I'm like, you're right, but I didn't want to hear that in that second. You could have waited like 30 more seconds. So the thing about it is, when we shift that mindset, red trades don't feel personal. They start to just feel like a part of the business where you say, okay, well, interesting information. And then when your nervous system, the challenge is reprogramming and rewiring your nervous system, which is what I'm currently, that's my priority. When you do that, until you do that, your nervous system may associate money with survival. Some people associate money with survival, and their need to hold on to it is what causes them to not expand in certain ways, or they're constricting their money or suffocating their money. And so the thing about it, when you mix that kind of emotion in the market, you will most certainly trade emotionally. You will have an emotional attachment to every tick, every dollar, if you have not properly accepted the loss. If I had not properly said, okay, if this trade goes down 50 pips, I know the exact dollar amount. Am I okay with that? Yes, it hit the 50 pips. Well, am I okay with that? Am I crying about it? Am I upset about it? Am I mad about it? None of those emotions exist, because I understand how to cut those trades as soon as they are incorrect. Okay. And so when you don't know how to do that and you trade emotionally, when you have an unhealthy attachment to the money that you're using, then you're going to cut your wins early. Okay. Instead of cutting your losses early, you're going to cut your wins early. You're going to let your losses run. You're going to let those bleed. So for instance, this trade 50 pips, you could have been in the trade and said, well, I'm only going to move it. I'm going to move it down 50 pips, right? My stop loss is 50 pips. It got to 50 pips. You're like, okay, well, let's just see 55. Okay, it got to 55. Now you're like, okay, what about 60? I'm gonna just move it 60. No, you're moving your pip. Or what about this? If your stop loss got hit and then boom, now you're opening back up a trade, because you're saying to yourself, okay, hold on, let me make sure we're set up here. You're saying to yourself, okay, I know it's going to go up from here. Now you're opening up a buy. You're trying to catch a falling knife, instead of allowing the market to do whatever it's going to do. It's going to do whatever it wants to do anyway. All we can do is govern ourselves. And so, just to the point, it's not about lacking the skill. It's about lacking the security and the right mental framework around money. That's why I say a lot of trading doesn't come down to the strategy of online. There's a lot of emphasis on strategy. Like for instance, this template on my chart, you can buy my template, or I can put it, I can do this, and you can. There's so much emphasis on that, but which is important. I'm not taking away from that. There is a bigger picture when it comes down to money mindset. And so as a professional, I don't see a loss as a threat. I don't see it as danger. I see it as just the cost of doing business. No different from having a restaurant, and let's say you order a shipment of tomatoes, and when the shipment of tomatoes arrives, they are completely destroyed. Is chicken hair everywhere, is dirt. Yeah, it's the cost of doing business. It's data. Okay, maybe I don't need to order from that supplier again. It is what I like to call a statistical variance. That's it. And so we know that nothing in the market is 100%, and that if our strategy or way of seeing the market has an edge, meaning similar to the casino has an edge over the gambler, 51-49, that edge there, if our system has an edge, then losses are already built in. So we don't have to worry about when they happen. We just know that when we place a trade, we know it's going to be random. And so losses are not interruptions. They are a part of the design for your trades, okay? They're a part of your business plan. You've already built them in. And then you can only, one of the things is, it's when you can accept a couple of the fundamental ideas that Reverend Ike, I love Reverend Ike, he talks about. It's just money is unlimited. There's no shortage of money. When you can accept those prosperity and abundance mindset beliefs, then you'll realize that money is going to continue to flow in and out of your life constantly. And if it's not flowing in and out of your life constantly, might be something that we need to fix, might be something that we need to change, okay? And then also, money can be created. So what? So if you sit here and pout and cry over a 50 pip loss that you had already planned, ideally, you might miss out on the other 75 pips. You get what I'm saying? So being too attached to that one loss means that you're putting your entire financial identity on that trade. And I would just say, I caution you against that, my friend. If you have a weak money mindset, you might say something like, I lost money, I'm behind. That's what a weak money mindset is going to say. A strong money mindset is going to say, I executed my plan. The outcome was a variance and I'm like, still dropping. That's a huge difference though, because I'm not attached to it. I'm just saying, well, what did I miss? Now I can sit back and say, now that I'm out of the trade, right? Because guess what? If I didn't have a stop, let's say you had a 50 pip stop and you didn't adhere to that. I want to make this video shorter, so we'll wrap it up here. If you didn't adhere to that and you just let the market run, oh no. Now you just let that 50 pip stop turn into a 100 pip loss, right? And so encouragement is, if you cannot emotionally handle a loss, or before you enter the trade, this is one of the things I always tell my students, if you cannot emotionally accept the dollar amount that would be a loss before you enter the trade, then you're trading too large, grand, too big, okay? You're too large, okay? And so either in position size is too large or in your ego, okay? Now, money mindset and how you process the cost of doing business when trading ideas don't exactly go as planned, that's gonna reveal, they're gonna reveal each other, okay? This keeps slipping because this, I have it set up here, but we'll go with it. So once you strengthen your money identity, your money mindset, you're going to strengthen your ability for the negative trades, or the trades that don't profit, or however you want to look at it. Those trades, you'll understand that they're going to lose their power over you, and you're no longer moved or upset or frustrated or mad or jealous or any of that thing. You're just like, you know what, maybe I should have been trading anyway. Let me just go lay down. Sometimes we need to lay down, go sleep. Anyway, because a disciplined trader read The Disciplined Trader. That was a plug. The disciplined trader understands that we're not opening trades to avoid losses. Okay, we're not opening trades like, oh, I hope this don't lose. We don't know, okay? Our goal is to trade based on an edge. And if the edge presents itself and we execute on that trade, and that trade does not go according to what we projected, then we understand that our edge includes those red days. And that's how you mature. So one of the things I would say, if you are having a challenge with the mindset around acceptance of market conditions, I would encourage you to visit thebillionairetradingclub.com. Whether you are a new trader or you are a seasoned trader, I do have resources that can help you along the way in your journey of developing your mindset to the point of where you're not emotionally impacted by losses, be they large or small. Because sometimes the small losses also do damage, because they're just chipping away at your ability to say, well, I know I can trade, but this small little loss you just keep taking, and then those stack up. In the background, you're like 50 losses to 1 win. So mindset shift. Thank you for watching this video. Would love to hear your feedback in the comments section below. Like the video, share it with a friend that you know gets super emotional, flipping the table when they experience a loss. I've I haven't been there. I wanted to. It felt like in my chest, the table had flipped. The heart was flipping, right? But we know that we can make it back. And if we hold on too long to that one trade, then we would miss the opportunity to know that there are so many other markets that, if the timing is right, we can create the money that we really desire. That's it. All right. So until the next time, trade safe. Take care.